Well, let's get talking. Now, the race is not a two-horse race, as far as I can see, because when the likes of Peter Obi left the PDP for Labour Party, it does look like things have been blown wide open as far as the race for the 2023 presidential election is concerned. There are others who are now experienced. They were newcomers the last time, but now they are more experienced. I'm being joined by one of them. He is a former deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and 2023 presidential aspirant of the ADC, African Democratic Congress. Professor Kingsley Moghalu joins us live here in our studio. Thank you so much, Prof, for coming.
Thank you.
I need to add also that you're an economist and you're a lawyer.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let me start by asking you, Prof, your primaries is
June 8th.
June the 8th.
African Democratic Congress.
To the very last minute.
Well, there were a number of reasons why we decided to do that. Yes.
And I understand that you have about almost 12 or thereabout.
About 12. Yes, we have 12 aspirants for the presidency in the ADC. Yes, we call ourselves the 12 pillars of the ADC.
Or the 12 disciples.
Or the 12 disciples.
You think you can get it, the ticket?
I hope so. But, you know, we are discussing, you know, it's a very open, in fact, today we had a meeting of the 12 aspirants with the party leadership, you know, where we discussed all aspects of the convention. So we're developing a very unique culture in the ADC, where all of us who are aspirants are like family members. We're like members of a family. So it's not a personal competition against each other. We're working for the interest of the party and the interest of Nigerians and Nigeria. A week ago or so, we also had another event that was carried on live TV, where the aspirants made a pitch to Nigerians saying what their own view of the country was and what they would like to achieve as president or what they bring to the table. So as far as I know, no other political party in Nigeria does this or has done this. So we're bringing a lot of innovation into the electoral system in 2023.
Does the ADC has the kind of structure that can win a presidential election?
The answer is yes.
Yeah, so, I mean,
if
I was discussing
yes.
this with you the last time,
yes.
you may not understand the context, but now you do understand.
I fully understand, informed by experience.
Absolutely. So,
yes.
I mean, when I had this conversation with people
yes.
who entered into the arena the last time, they told me it doesn't matter what... I know the Green Party in the United States have been there for as long as we can remember. They win this and win that, but they've not been able to come to the national stage and make an upset.
Yes.
Now, before you can give an upset to the existing structures of political party system in Nigeria, you must have a structure that can win elections. And that's why I asked the question.
Absolutely. We're in every local government area in Nigeria, the ADC, not just in every state. So the basic structure is there, and it's quite decent. Now, for the election, we are going to shore up that structure in a number of ways. I mean, it's whoever emerges as the presidential candidate. Speaking, for example, about myself, there are a number of alliances that have endorsed me and pledged to support me in 2023, at least 5 or 6, and each one of them has grassroots presence in every ward in Nigeria. That's a structure right there. But even more important is for us to educate the people of Nigeria about what the issues are so that they select leaders who can actually solve their problems of no water, no light, no good hospitals. The educational system is permanently on strike. That's the big issue. If we just do the politics of structure but no quality when you look at the candidates or the parties, then we're actually doing a disservice to ourselves as a country, because politics should not exist for its own sake. Politics exists to bring about good leadership that makes people's lives better. That is what has developed America. That is what has developed Japan. That's what has developed Germany. We cannot, in Nigeria, continue to do stomach infrastructure and just politics of quote-unquote structure. But the leadership quality is not high. And increasingly, the quality of the followership is also weak, because the followers must also take part of the responsibility for what we're going through in this country today. No question.
I asked that question because as much as You want to discuss issues. You also, I mean, in America and the UK, these are fundamental issues.
Yes.
You need to also grow yourself as individuals in the political system.
Yes.
And or then you get the ticket, then be able to, no matter who you are, you need to also prove to your party members that you can do it.
Absolutely.
My political instinct, reason when I was in the university, I thought I was a very popular candidate in my department until I was beaten silly by someone who was perceived as less popular than I was. He did the work. 5 a.m. in the morning, he went to the hostels to campaign.
Exactly.
And I was thinking that I was popular, hoping to go into the election.
Exactly.
It was my agent that was crying from upstairs where the vote was being counted that told me I had lost. I thought I was popular. So
this is one of the lessons I learned from 2019.
So that's why I'm going to ask you.
Absolutely. That's why.
What's the biggest lesson that you took away from 2019 election?
The biggest lesson I took away, there were several lessons. The people themselves in 2019 were not ready for a change. That was perhaps even the most important lesson. The second big lesson...
Were you disappointed, sorry, about that?
Yes, I was. That
the people that you were fighting for.
Yes.
And we can name, give names.
That's why
the Ganifa enemies of this world.
That's why I spoke about the need for us to educate Nigerians.
How much of that have you done?
We are doing it, and we'll do even more of it as we move forward towards 2023. So I said that was one big lesson. Another big lesson was that for as long as that electoral framework remained, only the APC or PDP could be competitive. But we have changed the electoral framework, which is a big outcome. So this election is not going to be about only the APC or the PDP. You can take that to the bank. I'm telling you, this election is going to be very different in many ways. The third lesson I learned was that you have to be structural in Nigerian politics. That is to say, you have to go word by word, polling unit by polling unit, state by state, and canvass for your votes. In addition to whatever you do on the airwaves, whatever you do on social media, you know, all these things must work together for you to win. These are some of the lessons I've learned. So I've learned quite a few lessons about politics, and that's why in this cycle, I have not been overexcited. I've focused on my primaries. I've focused on the internal party workings. When we make a decision as a party and as a family about who will represent us in the elections, if it happens to be me, then I pivot to the general election. I have deliberately not been running a general election campaign without getting the party ticket. I think that is not very smart.
No, that's another experience that you are bringing to the table. And you probably now stand as one of the most experienced out of the lot. Not only that, you're grounded in policy and governance issues based on your experience and developmental issues.
Yes.
As an economist, as a lawyer, being in the central bank and all of that, you have also garnered some political experience, which is now pushing you forward. Now, the question is...
An international experience as a
United Nations official.
Yes.
Now, great. Now, I personally am fascinated by your profile. It's intimidating in what sense. Anybody that's gone through any institution we know, that is not easy to have gotten all of those. And there are a lot of professors also in the different political parties. Now, it makes it interesting. We can have intellectual conversation about this country. Now, why the choice of ADC?
I chose the ADC because outside of the two parties, it struck me as the strongest party. It struck me, it's come third or fourth in two of the last presidential elections, 2019 and I think 2015. So obviously, therefore, it's a party that has presence and has promise. So what we are doing in 2023 is that we want to move from the third place to the first place. We don't want to be only the third force. We will also be the first force. So the ADC also is very grassroots oriented. It's a very grassroots-oriented party, and at the same time, respects ideas and intellect. If you look at most of its presidential candidates, they've been intellectuals, and yet the party is very grassroots-oriented. It is that combination of the understanding of the issues and capacity and competence with the ability to translate it into the grassroots that we need for transformation in this country.
Do you have National Assembly members?
We do, yes. We have one at this point, and we had several members of Houses of Assembly that were elected in 2019. However, what happens, of course, is that the bigger parties will try to push many of these people after they've been elected on the platform of smaller parties. So, but this time around, you know, we're growing ourselves into a much stronger and bigger force, and that is not going to happen. We are going to run very strong races down ballot, and it's one of the things we discussed today, actually, at our meeting with the party leadership.
As a man from Anambra State,
yes,
Southeast, I was trying to remember your town in
Nnewi,
Nnewi, yeah, a very popular trade-oriented area in
spare parts.
Yes, of course. And you've told that line. You've been in business also. So now, from someone from Nnewi, Anambra State, Southeast Nigeria.
Yes.
Did Peter Obi's going out of PDP to Labour Party trigger anything in the political space?
Well, you know, as a general rule, I do not discuss personalities who are either actual or potential competitors. I think it's for the public, the voting public.
You know the reason why I asked that?
To assess.
Yeah, you know the reason why I asked the question?
Go ahead, yes, why?
I mean, there has been an agitation. In 2019, it was not an issue.
Oh, you mean for a president to come from the Southeast?
Extraction, yeah.
Yes,
the question is that he left the PDP for some reasons.
Yes.
And after he left, there were a lot of reactions. And when Atiku Abubakar emerged in the PDP, it also caused some reaction. And we have seen leaders from that region speaking about it.
Yes.
And you are also a frontline aspirant in that sense. So and that's the reason why I asked if it triggered any kind of thought from your region.
Well, you know, the way I look at these things is I've sent a congratulatory message to my friend and brother, Peter Obi, on social media. I have also sent a congratulatory message to Atiku Abubakar, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, because I look forward to meeting them on the campaign terrain and on the debate stage, should I be the one the party ADC selects as its presidential candidate. So I'm quite open in my mind about these things. Yes, there is an agitation for a Nigerian president from the Southeast. And I think it's a justified agitation, by the way, which means that we should find the most competent persons, you know, from that region, as well as from other regions, to compete. Now, in 1999, Olusegun Obasanjo and Olufalaye were opposing candidates in the elections. They were from the same region. In 2007, President Buhari today was opposing President Yaradua. They are from the same state, Katsina. So in 2019, President Buhari and Atiku were also in competition from the same region. So, therefore, to make the point that the more the merrier.
Interesting. But do you see a president of the Southeast extraction in 2023?
I see it. I see it. I see it happening.
And who could that be?
I hope it will be me.
Do you think it could be you? I mean, you hope. I mean, hoping and having a strong belief that it could be you.
Absolutely. It could be me. It could be me. Because if I am selected by my party and I become the candidate, I have a strategy to win. And I will deploy it. And we can very well win. So 2023 is going to be very different from 2019. People are tired of the APC and the PDP, increasingly. You know, the APC and the PDP have had internal crisis, partly as a result of these issues of zoning, but partly also for other reasons. But I think that, you know, what we're seeing today in these parties, the extreme monetization of their politics is a bomb that is waiting to explode. I think they will not fare well from it.
So, I mean,
I can tell
if one of your big lessons in 2019 was that Nigerians were not ready for a change,
yes,
do you think they are right now?
More and more they are. We'll have to test whether they've gotten to that tipping point. But we can also bring them to that tipping point with a kind of campaign that communicates a hope for change and a call to action. That's what people can move beyond where they would have normally moved if a campaign makes them take that move. So, yes, I see that possibility. Very strong, actually.
So now, is at this point, this I think is the most critical part of this conversation.
Yes.
And for me, any opportunity for any person who wants to be Nigeria's president, the test of their ability is in one of these questions that I like to ask, and is the fact that what would you do differently?
Yes.
And I don't like to benchmark performance on the dates you arrive in office. Okay. But if there is an urgency for Nigerians to see performance from anybody who wants to be Nigeria's president, then I think that in the first 3 months of getting into office, there must be some drastic measures that could be taken.
3 months,
for you,
3 months is too long. Let me explain to you, Sheon. If I become the president of Nigeria today, you will begin to see a change in this country the next morning. Why? Because the first thing I would do is to build the team. We say nobody succeeds alone. No leader succeeds alone. 60–70% of your success as a leader depends on the team that you build around you. You cannot, as president, be every day running foreign affairs, running the economy, running solid minerals, running the health ministry. No, it depends on the team you have put together. So I will put together a dream team that will make the work lighter for me. I will provide the leadership, but I can go to sleep knowing that Mr. A or Mrs. B or Ms. B is competent to handle his or her schedule. That's the first difference you will notice, the quality of the team. The second thing is the tone that I will set as president. You see, there is a way to create inspiration in citizens by communicating to them a hope that they can be better and that our society can be better. So this also you will find when I become president, because therefore I can galvanize Nigerians into action in a positive direction very quickly.
I can't wait for us to put to test some of your ideas when you get a ticket. Like, but let's leave it to when you get the ticket.
Absolutely.
So we don't put it out there, and at the end of the day, it's get lost in the wind.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Professor Kingsley Moghalu.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Sheon, for having me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Just before.